Intelligent, insightful, smart. These are words other podcasts use to describe themselves, not us. This is Fairly Harmless, where missing the point is only the beginning. With musical accompaniment provided by the Boston Horns. East Coast Funk. Please enjoy Andrew and James.
Welcome to Fairly Harmless. I am Andrew.
I'm James.
I'm Billy.
And I'm Gretchen.
All right. Well, welcome. This is the anniversary episode of the Fairly Harmless podcast. We've now been in production now for a whole year. That's right. April 1st is the first day that we recorded. Wow. We've only been released to the public for 6 months. So anniversary episode.
It's anniversary of recording.
That's right.
1 year anniversary of recording. For folks who can't see us because we're not recording video, Billy and Gretchen are my siblings.
Well, I have a question for James. If you did not know that, would you think that the three of us are siblings?
No. I feel like the milkman was heavily involved in this situation.
I just thought I'd check.
Okay.
We don't talk about politics or religion.
Everything else is on the table.
Fair game. Yeah. There's some things that get cut out, which I don't think are going to be an issue for you two. How much have either of you listened to?
I have listened to every single podcast, some of them more than once. Episode.
Don't get that wrong, because he'll correct you.
Excuse me. Well, I was along those lines. I was going to say that although it is the meaningless analysis of things that don't matter, which I'm reading from my coffee mug.
Correct.
I think you play a bit fast and loose with the truth here sometimes.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
and
that's what we're about.
Just clarify, because Andrew wanted his siblings here to, talk about how we were raised. This is not how we were raised. First of all, things that don't matter. Everything matters.
From what I understand,
everything.
If I'm not mistaken, it was you were corrected on English all the time.
Yes. Well, our mother was an English teacher and had a master's degree.
Okay.
That's right.
And our father has never been wrong in his entire life.
I know somebody else like that.
And let me just say,
the record points that I'm not pointing at Billy or Gretchen.
That despite his reputation here, there was some talk of haggis being Irish. So I am here to set the record straight.
Okay.
About that and everything.
And
Scottish.
Let's also take note that you also did not have a World Book Encyclopedia.
It did not. No.
You had Britannica.
Absolutely.
Britannica.
Yeah. The better of the encyclopedias.
And before we forget, I do want to say, please, James, go fuck yourself.
How about you go outside and play hide and go fuck yourself, Andrew?
Exactly.
How about that?
I want that to be
that needs to be on record.
Clear straight away.
You're a fucking ass.
That reminds me of our childhood game where our father would say to the boys, "Go run around the house until I tell you can come in."
That's right.
I don't remember that, but it sounds about right.
I don't see Andrew doing much running these days. He and I aren't runners.
I did some running back in the day.
Yeah?
Yeah. I played organized sports.
Billy and I were in the marching band.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were so cool.
Billy, what did you play in that band?
I played percussion.
Oh, so you're the drum major.
Well, snare drum, bass drum, cymbals as a young lad.
Wow. The cymbals, the crashing, like the monkey.
That's right.
Okay, good.
I think you could play the triangle.
I'm good with the triangle. The tambourine's a little bit much.
Tambourine, glockenspiel, right out.
We persuaded the band director to purchase the vibra-slap, which is a percussion instrument that Frank Zappa used on some of his music.
Is that where that came from? Wait, did he invent the vibra-slap?
No, but I don't think so. But he was interested in percussion. He played the bicycle one time on some sort of television show in California.
Yeah, I've seen that video of him playing the bicycle.
Are you trying to learn how to operate that thing? It looks like you don't know what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing. I'm pulling up some notes I have about...
Wait, I just want to hear about the vibra-slap while we're waiting for Andrew to pull up notes.
Yeah.
Once we acquired, this must have been after my time. Once we acquired the vibra-slap, Was it used in the marching band, or how was it used?
I really don't remember. It wasn't in the scores that we played in the concert band. Usually it wasn't
not.
covered, but maybe we used it in the marching band. I don't remember.
Oh, well.
No, these things are. I'm getting to it. So this guy, he is the mountain that makes the airplanes fly. He's all the technology.
And Andrew is the ocean that makes the boat float, as we pointed out.
That's right. And so I have lots of ideas. He's had, how many ideas have you had?
Maybe I've had about 12 ideas.
Right. I've had no kidding, about 112.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm almost there. I do want to say that not the last time we were all together, but sometime over the winter, we were all in the hot tub, and
I wasn't in the hot tub.
you weren't.
No.
No.
Family hot tub.
I don't think you'd fit.
No. It would be one or the other of us.
Billy was trying to explain to Gretchen how the hot tub controls worked, and he said, "You got to press that for max bubbles." And Gretchen said, "Oh, that sounds like your podcast name."
Or my stripper name.
Or my stripper
That's a
name.
good
Might have
stripper
been-
name.
That
That's
was
a
my
good
stripper
stripper
name.
name.
That
That
what it
was
was.
it.
Max
Stripper
Bubbles.
name.
So we'll have to make an
I
addition
Billy,
to the
I think that's a
board.
good name for a stripper.
Here it is. I made some notes about things that Billy has told me about. The first one is your story about the finance guy Brigham and buzzword bingo.
Brigham Briggs. Yes.
Brigham Briggs. You told a great story about this guy, and then seeing them you asked a question.
Yes, so we would have all these big management meetings with people who were proud of their achievements, and they would always have some of the
I don't know what
lower
that's like.
echelon people make some presentations about what had been decided. And there was this sort of tacit agreement that you could ask critical questions, not too critical, but critical questions. And so they put together this annual plan for the company, and it included several elements, but among them were the number of units they were going to sell, the average selling price, and the gross revenue they were going to generate by selling this finite number of units. And so while this guy's talking, I just cross-multiplied the numbers in my head, and they didn't add up, right? If you multiplied the average selling price by the number of units, it didn't give the revenue. And I'm thinking, these guys have MBAs and they use computers. How can they get that wrong? And I asked him, hi, this is Billy. And I'd like to ask why it is that these numbers don't add up. And Brigham was up there with the microphone on the stage. And in the heat of the moment, he could not multiply two-digit numbers and check to see if I was right or not. He looked like a deer in the headlights. That was fun, and everybody kind of laughed at him. And
You got to keep your job?
yeah, on the way back, my boss kind of chided me for doing that. You didn't have to do that, Billy. And so then that night, one of the women that I worked with, she was having a big celebration down at the bar. Beautiful Chamber of Commerce day, and there's a courtyard down there at the Courtyard Marriott, and we're drinking beer, and they got hors d'oeuvres and everything. And there's this gal telling a story, a statuesque attorney that worked for the company. Everybody's looking at her telling this story, and she looks over at me and she goes, "And that's the guy." And the story was that when the VP of finance got them all back to the barn after the meeting, he told them, "Don't ever let that kind of thing happen again." Of course, he never checked it either, right?
Right. Don't ever let the friggin' engineers make us look like monkeys. You friggin'
Well, what it did
monkeys.
was it belied the fact that they didn't really have any deep thinking that went into this annual plan for $1 billion company.
They
Right.
were just
The
making
product of number A times B did not equal C. It doesn't give you any confidence that either A, B, or C is actually valid.
So that is a great story. So is that the same as buzzword bingo, or no? Is that different?
Well, buzzword bingo was a lot of companies did that, where you had a list of buzzwords, and as the big bosses would be making a speech, you would check them off.
So you and whoever else was in your group would be playing this game together?
ever
A lot
play-
of people different all over the country they did it. But what happened
Play
is
for
these
money?
words would come in like on a go forward basis, which meant in the future. And so these people say, on a go forward basis, this is supposed to happen, or from now, this is supposed to happen.
Yeah. I think this came up in our discussion of just use regular friggin' English. Don't change it. And I think it was part of modern commentators use the phrase metrics. These metrics,
Yes, metrics.
which
Well,
makes it sound. Yes.
I could interject along those
Please.
lines because I come from a different background. My friend, the grammar lady, she made up or somewhere got
Is the
Hallmark.
grammar lady?
You
Is this
know
a
her.
this is a friend of yours? This
Yeah.
is not like a
No, what?
YouTube personage.
No, she is a friend of mine. She also she was interviewed weekly on the radio as the grammar lady here
Wow.
locally on I don't know WRAL. or
Minor
something.
celebrity.
Minor celebrity. Yes.
Talked
yes.
about on this podcast.
And
That's
she recommends every year at Christmas time the Hallmark Christmas movie bingo. So hero in a red sweater, lost dog, certain catchphrases that will appear in your Hallmark Christmas love stories.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we play the Hallmark movie bingo sometimes. Similar idea.
Now this brings up an interesting idea in my head. The Tenenbaum.
The colossal.
The
Tannenbaum.
colossal Tenenbaum, yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Billy. You were intimately involved in getting the giant Christmas tree
Right.
from the side of the house.
One of them we cut down from
Yeah,
beside
cut
the
it
house. Do you
down.
remember that, Gretchen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you and
And it
Dad,
wasn't often a Christmas tree will be pruned such that it has a Christmas tree shape. This one had more of a
Natural.
woods look.
Natural.
Natural. Al
The
natural.
but you drug it around to the side of the house, and I assume it weighed.
It was a heavy tree.
Right.
I heard from what this guy says, you all had to craft your own stand.
Right. It wouldn't fit it. I mean, it wouldn't hold it up, too. The trunk was probably
And it was
8 inches
tied
across.
to the wall with fishing line or
Yeah, we had
That's
ropes
right.
to keep
ropes
it.
or something.
Did the crown actually bend over at the top of the?
I don't remember, but it took a big ladder to put the angel up there.
right.
Mhm.
Or maybe we put the angel up there before we erected it, actually. But just to put the lights on was a daunting event.
Yes. And that was back when one goes out, they all go out, right? I mean,
That's right.
The house, for those, visualizing this at home, the house was an A-frame. And so the main room, went all the way up, 30 feet or something. And this tree took up every bit of it. And off the back, the whole thing was set into the side of a hillside. And off the back was a deck. And you looked out over all these pine trees.
now I'm curious, when this occurred, were you all past the point Santa was no longer
I think we had reached
I mean, I had a
maturity.
chainsaw, so.
It's not giving a lot of 9-year-olds chainsaws.
No, he was how old? You these two are a little bit older than me.
You're the baby of the bunch.
I'm the baby.
Indeed.
Were you?
16, 18.
Yeah,
like that.
at least
And you were what?
6.
5'6".
6.
5'6".
Would've been
I know
6.
5'6".
6 to 8.
And you believed in Santa till you were 18.
He had no reason to doubt him.
That's right.
You
I mean,
can't
there
break
was-
it to him.
It's. I got to tell you, it's been a long, hard road of growing up these last 25 years.
Right.
I'm 55.
More and more has been revealed. I don't want to tell you anything about tomorrow, but that bunny.
Funny, it's not
It's a
full
line
of
along the
chocolate.
line with a tooth fairy. For such a dental event, they have a lot. They're in codes. We got a couple of things planned. We got What's in the Box is back in session today,
Mystery
but
box.
Gretchen brought the things for What's in the Box. So
I want to be clear that
Yes.
you have listened closely enough to the podcast to know that Gretchen at one point worked as a docent in
It's true.
the Natural History Museum
True.
and has an affinity with creatures.
Nothing alive.
There's
has
nothing
been-
alive.
so you
I
haven't
would
stolen anything and put
Well,
it in
that would be
I don't
so.
care about it being stolen. I
would
just don't
be-
want it to be.
That would be so cruel to the animal. I wouldn't do that to any live creature. The
Yeah,
poor
well, I just
animal
wanted
would
to-
be terrified if you stuck your big
Mitt.
monkey paw in there. Ugh,
a big old handy
poor little.
mitt.
I can't imagine. I would never do that.
Yeah,
to
that's
a
what I
live
was
creature.
concerned about was the
I
little
thought-
creature
Yeah,
being
yeah.
being traumatized.
Snakes are our friends. Remember that.
That's right.
I don't know if I've.
Oh, by the way,
Yes.
there was an item Andrew put in the box. I think the original item
The
Yes.
one from the original What's in the Box.
Yes.
The only one
which
we've
he
done.
did, which he did not remember. I had actually given him. It had been from a stocking I gave him.
Right.
Wow, a stuffer.
It was a
It
gift from
stocking
Gretchen.
stuffer.
Wow.
I didn't purchase it myself. It was a gift.
Wow.
for my
You know,
little
I need to take a picture. We need to immortalize that as Omar Jones stated up on the website for all to
Right.
see.
Okay.
Maybe
We
we
do.
could start a gallery
Items.
that have been What's in the Box items now that it's probably going to become a regular shtick.
Yeah, absolutely.
So shall I turn the
Yeah, let's
opening
see it.
toward Andrew and hope everything doesn't fall?
We'll start with Andrew and then we'll go around the table. I'll just close
So
the
it's
computer
on
here.
top of the pedestal,
One's
right?
on the pedestal and one's somewhere nearby.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to touch them both, one at
Let's
a time.
do it one at a time.
Only the
All
one
right,
on
one at
the
a time.
pedestal.
All right, so I'll start with the pedestal.
Start with the pedestal.
Was that you, James, or was that you, Billy?
That was
That's
Billy.
good, Bill.
That's good, Billy.
Maybe it's too easy. It's fine.
Well, it's only because you told me you made a suggestion to me.
Oh, no.
Billy, I'm warning you, the pedestal's in the back.
Back of the box.
Back of the box. What do you think, Billy? What do you think, Andrew? It's very prickly, whatever it is.
I think sweet gum ball.
From the tree?
Everybody?
From the tree?
Oh, I
Yes.
was going to guess pine cone.
No, it was
No.
definitely not a pine cone.
Sweet gumball it is. 2 out of 3.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what
Well,
I'm saying.
Starting with Billy, you can feel the other item, which is somewhere down on the ground, or I don't know where it is.
I know what shape it is. I don't know what.
What it is?
I know what. Yeah.
Don't tell us yet.
When I had first grade Cub Scouts, told them a story about how I wanted to go to the Holy Land and procure a royal mummy because only a royal mummy would be good enough for me. They were better preserved and, more attractive. And
What
when
were you planning on doing with the mummy?
well, we'll get there. And
Okay,
So then when I
okay.
got,
I
met
got my own ideas, you
a
know?
villainous mummy trader who took me into the pyramid down rickety ladders, and he showed me an inferior mummy that had been moth-eaten, and I didn't want that. But then I could see that further down there was an exquisite royal mummy, a young woman. And so I dropped the lantern and made my way down there in the dark for the purpose of stealing this mummy.
Right.
And as I'm stealing the mummy, the Hassan takes a sword and swipes at me and cuts the mummy's hand off. And so all I got was the mummy's hand. And that was what I had in the box that the Cub Scouts could touch. And the mummy's hand, of course, was a leather glove with wet sand in it,
Oh, wow.
There's always one kid that goes, that's not a hand, that's just a glove with sand. And I know what that is because they were, 7, and some of them are a little bit more precocious. And so I
Wow.
sort of tamped him down, and I told him that if they were good, I would show him the Japanese weeping crystal sometime later, which of course is an ice cube owned by a woman who was so disappointed when her lover died that the crystal he gave her constantly wept tears of bitter disappointment.
Woo.
And Eddie Oliveris, about once every 2 weeks, can we see the Japanese weeping crystal now? Eddie, soon.
Oh, Lord.
So I'm thinking,
Item number 2 in
Item
the
number
mystery
2.
box. Go for the triangular thing, and then we'll.
okay, I have a guess.
Okay. There should be a triangular.
Do you feel the triangular thing?
It's the triangular thing, right?
Yes, the
More-
triangular thing.
Wishbone shape.
Wishbone shape.
Wishbone it is.
Johnny Wishbone.
It is a wishbone.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
cool.
it is. It is. And I put it in there because I thought, since this is
Oh,
also a little bit of a throwback to our childhood, that my brothers might want to make a wish.
And
And
I thought
break
there could be like a
wish.
competition.
Well, every breaking of a wishbone is a competition.
That's
in
right.
fact,
And then
it's
with
kind of like thumb wrestling.
I like it. Now, is this from a recent chicken?
I think it was from the Thanksgiving turkey.
Oh wow!
I think, but I could be
got
wrong.
some
It could-
nostalgia. Here we go.
It could be from a chicken.
A
I don't
live
remember. Wait,
oh, look
have
at
you have you
look.
made your?
Oh, it broke right down the middle.
Oh
broke
my
right
goodness!
down the middle. Look at
You
that.
both get your wishes.
Is the short
I know.
one get the wish or the long one?
I think the long one, but I think you both get your wishes.
Wow.
I don't know
Maybe
if it works
dried
then.
too long.
Yeah,
Maybe it
it's-
got too old.
it got
I
mummified.
It got
swear
mummified.
I put my finger on it. It was a little bit of sticky, but maybe that was all in my head.
Well, it's because it was near that fleshlight that you left in there the last time.
Speaking of which, you said you were going to give me something today. Is that right?
I do. It's in the closet. I gotta go get it. I think you know what it is.
You son of a bitch. Is all I
We'll
can
get
say.
that. We'll get that. We'll get that in a minute.
I
Yeah.
see.
Well, you know who liked giant hair bands was Andrew. He's
Oh.
a big fan of Guns N' Roses.
You're going to miss out. These people, you guys don't listen to terrible 80s music. No, they don't care. They,
No, not very often.
No.
Yeah.
Although along those lines, absolutely, I recommend this highly to everyone listening because of the upcoming total solar eclipse.
Total eclipse of his heart.
Exactly. I looked that song up, and the 80s video for it is unbelievable. It is so weird and so 80s and almost uncomfortable. You have to watch it.
We
Is
can
it-
watch it right now. I
You
think.
can watch it right now.
Is that Kim Carnes or
I
Something
think you're
like
right.
that.
I think
Linda
you're right.
Carlisle?
No, that first one, Kim somebody.
Yeah, I think Kim Carnes is. I think
It
you're right on
is
time.
so freaking weird. I was like, okay, I know the 80s music videos were strange, but this just goes a whole. It's the one that's under, official video or something like that.
Here, let me put it up on the big screen.
Here's something. Have you had any songs stuck in your head recently? Either of you?
Oh yeah,
Besides Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yeah.
Uh,
Total eclipse of the heart. That was terrible.
That's a good
That's
one. No,
pretty
Good.
awful.
That was
Well-
pretty good. If you watch the whole thing, you'll see that she's like in a part of the time she's sort of in a boys' boarding school.
it looks
And
that
it's
way.
borderline kind of uncomfortably. I don't know what the heck's going on between her and those boys, but it's
She only looks like Lady Diana from a far away. When
yeah,
you get up
it's
close,
just the hair.
it is a boys' boarding school.
I know. Well, there's some scenes that made me a tad uncomfortable, but I'm more woke than I was in the 80s.
I think we all are. I think we couldn't avoid it.
Yeah.
Let us not forget there's something that Billy put in the box too.
Oh, that's right. There's
Oh, yeah.
the second
Third-
round
third
of
the second
I'm ready.
second
Yeah.
coming of the
I'm
box.
going in. I'm going in. I certainly have a guess.
all right, cool.
All right, I'm going to reach.
And we want specific answers.
I was
Specific
afraid you would.
answers,
Oh,
yeah.
I
Is it
should
on?
have felt it longer. I may have to have another, as we say here in the South.
I think I'm gonna have to cut that one out, Andrew.
That's what she said. That's what your mom said.
That's right. My
Hey, now
mom's-
watch. Don't be talking about my mom like that.
you know,
Because she's your mom too.
your mom, strangely enough, was in the Holocaust. I know you guys don't know that, but there's a picture in somebody's apartment where she's staring down
really?
from on high.
Yeah. So you made up pictures of our mother and gave them to all of us. I think some time ago.
Oh, that was actually our dad did that. Yes. I passed
Did he?
them out, but he had them made. Yeah.
So I've got this wonderful picture of mom, and I put it up in my apartment. And my friend, which I use that term loosely, James, and my other friend,
Schwa.
came over to visit.
It was
And-
during Fairly Harmless.
Were we recording?
the recording of our first guest, Schwa.
And he commented and said something like, I just want to I just want to acknowledge that you've got this wonderful picture of this Holocaust
Victim.
survivor victim on
Yeah,
your wall.
on
And
your
I
wall.
said, thank you. That's my mother.
You asshole.
You son of a bitch.
Just because it's sepia.
And it knocked him down a peg in my eyes.
I think I went up a peg. I feel like he was very observant.
Hard to go lower.
Yes. Well, I thought I just, I'm not trying to. Well, maybe I am, but
Hurt me?
It's tough. It's tough with your family here, but I don't want. I don't want
Don't
to
let
delve.
that stop you.
I'm not gonna. I'm going with it. I don't want to delve too much into your personal life, but that picture's up pretty high.
You saying I needed a?
It can see a lot of things.
Oh Jesus Christ! You and the.
It's up high enough that it can see stuff.
It's
It's like
first
it's
off,
like Santa Claus and God.
first off, mom does not reside in the picture.
True.
You've got like some sort of weird shamanistic thing going on.
Well,
There.
it could be like a Harry Potter picture. I mean, You give AI long enough, it'll start moving around.
Harry Potter. What do you mean Harry Potter?
Those
Have you ever
pictures
the
that were
pictures in Harry
alive.
Potter that move?
Portraits on the wall.
yeah.
that were
You
alive.
remember
Did
the
you-
movies and the books?
Did you see my mother's picture moving?
She did have eyes in the back of her head, so
That's true.
She tried to correct me on some grammar when I was leaving your apartment the other day.
you heard her voice in your head saying,
So
Okay, so
yeah, I didn't want to take that tangent, but I had to.
Yes, thank you.
It sometimes it makes me think when I'm doing certain things, like would I put my mom up on a wall that high, or would I keep her lower to the floor?
This gives me a great idea. The next time we're recording, first I need to get a picture of your mother and then frame it.
Not hard. She's still living. I know where
just
you could get
visited
one.
her.
I've got her phone number.
favorite
I've
son
got her
just
phone
visited
number.
That's right.
It's a great idea.
That's right. You were just there.
I wasn't actually, but
Oh.
she's coming to visit, and I'll take her picture,
Right.
make a
Thankfully,
copy
she
of
doesn't listen to this fucking podcast for
Right.
certain reasons.
it,
Smart
which is
woman.
great.
Smart.
Great
woman.
for me.
But
then
Pops does.
frame it, and put it in your bedroom high up.
High up. Well,
Come to
thankfully, my bedroom isn't where I partake of certain activities.
Goodness.
Just
Billy, what do you think?
TMI.
Oh, that's the whole thing, Gretchen. It's
Uh-huh.
TMI.
Yeah. I
TMI,
figured, I
yeah.
figured.
But you see, I haven't said anything. I've just implied things.
That's true.
all right. So I'll just
I
make a bunch of
appreciate
little wallet-sized pictures and just put them
All
all
over
over
the
your-
house.
all over the house.
Almost like little cameras.
Yeah. Just
Camera mom.
6 or 7 in this bathroom, and
Oh, it'd be like the 80s when you used to get like wallet photographs. They'd
Yeah.
say, you could put this in your wallet. They don't do that anymore
I know.
yeah.
because people don't carry wallets anymore
Yeah.
They
Or
don't.
money.
or money.
I do both those things, but I'm a throwback.
Cash.
You have to carry cash. You don't know how to use any of the modern
I do.
day.
I know how to use the credit card, honey.
Oh, that's
Trust
true.
me.
I was going to say you don't know what
I-
Venmo is, or
I can't get Venmo to work for me. I can get Zelle to work, but no one has Zelle.
Gil has Zelle, oddly enough.
Gil Martin,
Gil Martin,
the man who would be king.
the man, the man who would be king.
Do you think you could get to the point?
There is no point.
There is no point.
All
Well,
right.
I will say that in the box, it's clearly a badge, but we're supposed to be specific.
I didn't think it was a badge.
You
I
didn't?
thought it was a belt buckle.
I thought it was a belt buckle
Oh.
too.
So it's not. So Billy,
Ooh.
we were
So
wrong.
if it's a badge and we're supposed to be specific,
Are we talking like a specific area that this badge would be used? Like,
Capital Area Policeman badge?
yeah, like Capital.
You know
Did
why
you
I
steal it
guessed
from the
that.
police?
That's illegal. You can't
Well,
have that.
Joe could give it to us.
It's
Oh.
a Clemson University student police badge,
Wow.
number 67.
Wow,
But
vintage.
you were never, to my knowledge,
I
you were-
was
you
a
were?
student policeman, one of my many, many jobs. My
I
friend
had no
Joe,
idea.
she was a student police
Really?
woman.
Okay, I can picture that.
And in the summer, the whole crew of cadets showed up to paint yellow curbs, and they didn't have enough paintbrushes. It was like 25 people. And so then the next day, 6 people showed up. And then after that, it was Joe and I for the rest of the summer.
Quickly
And
promoted to
During the
captain.
school year, the student police served directing traffic at ball games and that sort of thing. And so the woman who was I think she was like a colonel or something like that. She was in the Marine Corps Reserve as well as a leader in the student police. And she got badges and uniform shirts.
Wow.
Wow. Did that
And-
power go to your head, Billy?
No.
Okay.
And I showed
I know
up
one
for
person
one
it would go
event long enough to get the badge, and I was making my way out the back with the shirt. Called me back and got the shirt back.
But you stuffed that badge
I got
safely
the
away.
badge.
You tucked it away.
That's some impressive swag.
That is impressive.
That
Very
could
impressive.
go
And
up
you
on
got
eBay for
to
something.
pick your own badge number, and she wouldn't let me have the badge number I wanted,
Which
so I
was, of
got
course-
67.
Yeah. think I know which one you wanted.
A couple of numbers higher there, Billy.
Perhaps.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go get the mystery gift out of the closet. I'll be right
This
back.
is going to be awesome.
You may actually see me
We can't
follow through on
killing James.
my threats.
Well,
to
the thing
James.
is, if you're ever going to have guests here who are going to keep your secret to the grave,
That's right. It's
The
going to be
sibling.
your family.
the siblings will never tell. James? We never met anyone named James.
James
I
who?
don't know to what you are referring.
Now close your eyes.
Okay.
You're going to keep them closed.
They're still closed.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Taking it out of
Oh
the
my
package.
goodness. Oh
There you
wow.
It's not what I thought it
It's-
was.
It's the pillow that you are going to use to suffocate James.
It is. It's so great. It's so much better. I thought you were going to give me a fleshlight and I was going to beat you to death with it.
Tell us what it is.
You can bring it
Andrew.
home and bring it home with your mom.
Hey, Mom, look what I got, a fleshlight. It's a fairly harmless pillow, folks. It's incredible. How
Suitable. It's sort of a throw pillow, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
well-
already breaking. I like that
Uh-oh.
quality quality
It is.
control.
Uh-oh.
It is.
Uh-oh. Do you need me to sew that up for you, little
Can
brother?
you? Yes.
I can do that at home. At
Aren't
home.
you
Not
sweet?
here.
We're gonna need to get an emergency sewing kit on
Goodness
set.
gracious. Goodness gracious. Yes. A little bit of faulty workmanship.
Hecho, where's that been hechoed?
That's the pillow is probably Hecho in Honduras,
Hecho in Honduras.
but printed in America.
China.
Yeah, so that was part of the three things that I got from the latest purchase of Fairly Harmless gear.
Yeah.
Gretchen, if you want to, because I know that the magnet didn't work on your car.
That is sadly true. But more importantly, I was gifted on my birthday a clothing item which was about 4 sizes too large.
And I got a replacement.
Smaller ones?
Smaller ones have been procured. I don't know if they're exactly your size. We had to guess.
I'm sure
So-
they'll be a little closer.
I have those here.
Wow, now I'm
Billy,
like,
I'm sorry I
so
don't have anything in your
excited.
size. I got a replacement idea. I don't know how well it's going to hold up. This is a decal that you put on the inside of your window,
Awesome.
Mm.
and it has instructions. So I'm going to give you the instructions. Here's what
Wish me luck.
Here's what they look like.
It says, of course, as all our childhood signs said,
Fairly-
we are being kidnapped. Help us. That's what we slapped up in the way back.
So it's a this is going to be permanently
Sort of like a temporary tattoo.
it's a permanent temporary tattoo for your window.
You know, I've only remembered I can't remember, it keeps on going through my head. I remember the story of Dad showing you, I don't know how old you were, but it was in Philadelphia. But you, someone, either you or he had built a catapult. Can you tell that story briefly?
Sure. So our father
The
did
engineer.
research on different things. He worked at the Franklin Institute, and I was sort of a tinkerer. And so he came home with this very flexible natural rubber tubing, super stretchy, and he gave it to me, probably 25 feet of it. And so I constructed a catapult with this material. I was getting ready. It was almost fully assembled, and I was getting ready for the test firing. And our dad, the commuter, he took the train into work. He comes past the garage, briefcase in his hand. He looks down at what I'm doing, and he said, "Don't shoot that thing till I get home from work," which really was a mistake, because he sort of had, when I get home from work, we will debate whether that should be fired in the neighborhood. He said, "Don't shoot that thing till I get home from work."
So he was giving you permission.
Yeah. And so he gets home from work, same guy, same thing, garage right there. And I have half a brick on this baby. And the arm on this was maybe 4 feet long. And I pull it back and cock it and didn't really say anything. He's just standing there, and I fire it off, and it goes over the house, across the street, and into the next spot. And he looks at me and he goes, "Put that thing in the garage."
Half a brick, folks.
Half a brick.
Over the neighbor's house into the next.
That's some ingenuity there.
And I got on the bike and I went over there, Because I'm figuring, there would be cops in an ambulance if it had killed somebody or even a dog. I mean, there would be somebody looking into it. But I was going to look and see if it took out a hedge or broke a window or took some shingles off a roof. I never could find that brick. So have we ever covered the kitchen fire?
The kitchen
We have not.
fire.
Have you heard about the kitchen
No,
fire?
I have not.
So
Sounds great.
this A-frame house that had the picture of
is
the
a good
Christmas
story.
tree. There was a little galley kitchen up on the first floor. And
Ground
it
level.
wasn't uncommon to go down in the basement, watch some TV, and perhaps bring some popcorn down there.
We should say I was probably 15, 14.
Yeah.
15, not very old. So Andrew puts the popcorn
Old
on
enough
the
to know
stove.
better. No,
Does
it was
that-
making French fries.
French
Oh,
fries.
no.
You were
French
making
fries.
Jiffy
French
Pop?
No Jiffy
French
Pop.
fries with the big pot full of oil bubbling away. on the
Boiling
stove.
oil.
And then goes down to the basement to watch television. Then recalls some minutes later that there's French fry grease on the stove.
Well, so I was downstairs watching, I can't remember, something.
And the
Star Trek.
smoke alarm goes off.
No, I could hear the fan.
Oh.
The exhaust fan was going, and it was this, and then I heard it kind of cut out and then stop, and I thought
That seems odd.
that seems
The
odd.
fire had extinguished the fan. So Andrew sees the fire. He goes over to the neighborhood.
I go upstairs and I'm
Flames
like,
are
holy
shooting
neighbor's
shit!
house.
Out
Rings the
onto
doorbell.
roof.
And the neighbor casually comes up to the house and opens the door to his house. And Andrew says, the kitchen's on fire. He grabs the fire extinguisher and comes over there and puts out. The fire department came and everything, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
And then when it was all over, the neighbor says, Andrew, if the house is on fire, you can just open the door and holler. You don't have to ring the bell.
yeah, it was good that the
Yeah,
fire
nice and
department.
courteous.
It was good that the fire department came because the boiling oil had caught on fire and it looked like a jet engine upside down on the stove. And it had gone up into the exhaust fan that was covered in grease that we never cleaned,
Right.
which we didn't have to
Oh,
because
the fire had gone up.
The fire.
Okay.
and it had gone into between the interior wall and the exterior wall.
Oh,
and it
boy.
was in there. And so even though we had put it out with a fire extinguisher,
So
the house was
still
still
burning.
was
On
still in
fire.
the process of burning down. So it was a good thing that the fire department came because they hacked a hole in the roof, put out the inner wall fire.
Now, I don't know much about your father, but
easy going is the phrase that springs to mind.
what I know about him in this time period is that I wonder what it would have been like to be a fly on the wall post
I was
Greece incident.
pretty concerned about his.
I'm surprised you're breathing.
So many stories have a happy ending. So our mother became persuaded that the heat from the fire had affected the tuning of the piano. So she made a claim. Insurance company fixed the roof and painted the kitchen and did all that stuff. And they also paid to have the piano tuned.
Oh, I love that.
I don't think I
didn't
ever remembered that or
that.
knew that.
Wow.
How great.
How fortuitous that you almost burned your house down.
Yeah,
She got her
well,
But you
piano
gotta-
tuned.
and she got her piano
It was
too.
close too. I mean, that was close to burning the house down. That was
Oh, yes.
quite a bit of damage.
Yes, it was quite a bit, thousands and thousands of dollars, even 40 years ago.
And what kind of punishment did you
I don't know that I
procure from
got
this?
any punishment for that one. I mean, you know what? Accidents happen, James.
And he
It
was
wasn't-
very remorseful.
I see.
If you count remorse as,
If you
a
count
mitigating
fear
factor.
as remorse,
Oh,
yeah.
I would count fear as remorse. I'd be ostracized from my family, I think.
It wasn't like, what did I do to get where I had to? One of the punishments was I had to dig a ditch all the way around the house,
A moat.
a moat.
Well,
if you will.
was that to put the roach?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. But
so
it was a
back
punishment.
in the day. You could treat your house with what was that stuff called?
Chloridane.
Chloridane. And
Chloridane.
then they're about to make it illegal, and our dad went and stockpiled it. So for years after that, he'd make the boys dig a ditch around the whole house from time to
No,
time.
I think I was the
and
only
fill it
one
with
who ever dug a
Chloridane.
ditch around the entirety of the
Oh,
house.
All right. It's not how I remember it. How do you remember it, Billy?
Did you
Don't
dig any
remember.
ditches around the entirety of the house?
We did a lot of field work like that.
Yeah.
Field
yeah.
work.
So this has been Andrew.
I'm James.
I'm Billy.
And Gretchen.
Once again, this has been fairly harmless. Missing the point on, wait, What's the point? Fairly Harmless is available on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, YouTube, and Pocket Casts. Our musical accompaniment provided by the Boston Horns, East Coast Funk. Their music is available for streaming and purchase on most media platforms. For Fairly Harmless, this has been your announcer, Fast Eddie. See you soon.
I should have felt it longer.